Okay, so the American election this time around is truly an election extraordinaire, I would argue. There are so many elements that would have been fit for one election only, but it's all comprised in a couple of months. You had an incumbent that is dropping out of the race. You had two um, attempts on Donald Trump's life, which in and of itself is extraordinary. And you had a candidate like Kamala Harris that has about 90 days to make herself known to a wider public, not just as a vice president. So there are so many elements that have shaped the election one way or the other that it truly is an election extraordinaire this time around. I would say that elections in America are always very, very close. They will depend on a few couple swing states, mostly Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan this time around. I think it's going to be very difficult for the Democrats if they lose Pennsylvania. So this is a state that is should be watched on election night. And this time around, it could really only be maybe 1,000, maybe 10,000 votes one way or the other that could swing the election. So that is going to be special in that regard. I think that Americans unfortunately have really started to live in different realities, that there is very, very little common ground on the political campaigns, maybe with the exception of some foreign policy and economic policy arguments. However, it would not be surprising to see maybe even political violence after election night. Donald Trump has already said that he might not accept the election results if he's losing, which then could set in motion a variety of effects. I don't necessarily expect another January 6th event because election officials and police and military is prepared, and Joe Biden is in office, so you don't have an incumbent that is questioning the election results. You have an opponent, a challenger that is questioning election results. However, that you see political violence maybe in state capitals, maybe on the local level, is not unlikely, I would argue. And I think that Trump's populism and his elements or elements of his political rhetoric are going to stay. I think that he is much more a symptom than he is a cause of societal trends that have become evident for a really long time. The defining element of what it means to be American is that if you work hard, will be able to make it. That's the very definition of the American dream. And I think for a lot of people in America, the American dream has turned into a nightmare with challenging circumstances when it comes to the economy. The American dream is now less likely to be achieved among young adults in the US. It's at 47-48%, according to The Economist. And what does it do to a country that's based on the very promise of economic prosperity and social progress if that is turned into an unlikely scenario? That's why I would say that Trump, is a symptom much more than he is a cause, and his rhetoric and the populism that he represents are going to stay and will shape America for the foreseeable future.